Hi, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Monday Night Lives in the Launching Life with Autism Facebook group. This group is for parents who are new to autism, who are struggling with the chaos that autism has brought to their lives. If that sounds like you and you want to get calm, understand, and connect with your child, then you are in the right place. And I am Erin Porter, your host. I went through this chaos during 28 years of teaching, and now I'm on a mission to help parents get through it too. What I learned and implemented in over 28 years in the classroom and in spec ed has helped hundreds of teachers and parents calm the chaos that autism has brought to their lives. Today, we are discussing sleep, which was inspired by a specific question this week from an exhausted pregnant mom who has a daughter with autism, almost 3, who isn't sleeping. Right off the bat, I want to tell you that this live stream is not about a quick fix for sleep. Tonight is about understanding the real problem by looking at sleep differently. Tonight is about a new perspective and a different way forward. If you're here, say hello. I love when everyone says hello because Facebook tells me how many people are here, but they never tell me who is here. So please say hi if you're joining. Now, let's get to this. In my experience, sleep is a very common issue among parents of children with autism. In fact, it might be the number one issue in my private coaching. If this sounds like you, then you're not alone. Now, I know that's not much help, but I hope in some way it validates your frustrations and feelings just to know that you're not alone. I know what you really want is to know how to fix this, and that would be even more validating. So let's get to this whole thing. Sleep is about self-regulation, and it can be resolved. However, sleep itself is not the issue. It's actually the symptom of a bigger issue. Much like pain is the symptom of an injury, if we treat just the pain won't go away permanently unless we treat the injury. And if you don't treat the injury, then there could be permanent damage. If you think of sleep not as the problem, but as the symptom of a bigger problem, then solution and approaches change. I'm going to leave you with that thought for a minute. It's new, so it will likely need some time to just sink in. Sleep is not the problem. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. I've had huge success in repairing sleep with my one-to-one clients when we look at sleep differently as a symptom of a bigger problem, and then we tackle the bigger problem, which is self-regulation. If you're looking at sleep as the problem, it's very, very hard to fix. It's like keeping up with managing the pain from an injury. You may need some short-term strategies, but the real way to fix the pain is to fix the injury. Do you see that your child with autism may lack self-regulation? Many people think that this just means that they might have tantrums or meltdowns and can't solve their problems. This is part of it, but self-regulation goes far beyond just a lack of problem solving. And sleep is one of those things that requires self regulation for it to happen. When you go at it from a different perspective and address the root of the problem, then other things will fall in place as well. When you go at the symptom, which is sleep, it's hit or miss with strategies that generally aren't long lasting or don't solve the problem forever. I've had so many parents tell me that strategies they've tried or tips or tricks, they work for a bit and they might be great for a few days or for a few weeks, and then they fade and they're right back to where they were before, square one, tired and frustrated. So if your child requires support to fall asleep, stay asleep, stay in their own bed, or return to sleep at night if they wake up, then we're actually talking about self-regulation. And by support, I mean you, a bottle, a soother, rocking, songs, a noise machine, a specific routine that can't be replicated during the night if they wake up. These are all things that are providing support rather than teaching your child self-regulation and how to fall asleep on their own. And likely, there are other areas in life that your child is struggling with self-regulation, like eating, playing, toileting, self-care, just to name a few. So if you could look at all of these things even as symptoms of one big issue, then you could be on your way to some major change. I recently supported a family in my one-to-one coaching program who thought their son was a good sleeper. He's 3, and he slept pretty much from 8:45, 9 to 6, maybe 6:30. They were grateful that he slept that much, and they didn't see it as an issue. Well, on day 1 of working with me, they got started and very quickly saw that the amount of sleep he was getting as a 3-year-old was not adequate for daily functioning. Just think about it. How exhausted beyond belief are you if you're overtired? And how do you act? How do you feel? How do you perform at tasks or even learning new things? You can't, right? This little guy who's 3 fell asleep at about 3 o'clock, might have been 3:30 on the first day of the program. And I'm not going to lie, the program is exhausting for everyone. And the parents were a little bit beside themselves that he fell asleep so early and then he didn't wake up at 5 or at 7 and couldn't believe it when he slept right through the night until 7 a.m. He slept for 16 hours. They could not believe it. And you know what happened on the second day? This little guy fell asleep around 1:30, and although he woke a few times, he continuously put himself back to sleep all day and all night again. He slept for 18 hours on the second day. By the third day, his sleep was beginning to become regulated, and he was adjusting and ready for bed each night at 7:30. Now we're still working on shifting some things, so we can still go to bed earlier, but he is shifting in his sleep because he needs more sleep. let me show you what I mean. And this is tricky on a live stream, but I want you to think about the time that your child falls asleep in the evening. And I'm going to show you a visual and how that is actually impacting them when they're awake during the day. Okay, so I have this visual. I'm not really sure how to share it on my screen. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to hold it up and show you. Here it is. This is the understanding of sleep from 7 to 7. So this is 7 p.m. and this is through the night, and this is sunrise, 7 a.m. Everybody see that so far? Deep sleep happens at the beginning of the night. And each cycle, that's this down, up, down, up, down, up. Each one's a cycle. And you can see down here, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. We go through about 5 cycles in a night. They're each about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes. That would get us the 12 hours, which means that by midnight or 1 a.m., most of the deep sleep is over. It also means if your child is falling asleep late at night, that they're missing out on the important cycles of deep sleep. And if your child is missing out on deep sleep, then they will likely have less capacity for attention, memory. They will likely have behavior issues and likely have a lack of inhibition control. That's the impulse stuff. And all that is linked to self-regulation. My guess is, if that's the case, your child probably has another diagnosis of something like ADHD, ADD, ODD, or OCD. So let's go back to this child. So even though this couple thought their child was getting enough sleep, he wasn't. And he was getting sleep at the wrong time. He wasn't getting enough of the deep sleep. So he was unable to function to the very best of his ability during the day because he was exhausted. Now, when we looked at what this little guy needed in terms of self-regulation, we found many areas where he needed support and improvement. And when we went at things through that lens, treating each thing as a symptom rather than each thing as a problem, we could see how eating, sleeping, playing, self-care, toileting are all about self-regulation. I'm here tonight to tell you that you can do this with your child. I know it sounds counterintuitive because we are all used to thinking that these things are individual problems, and we look outside of the child for solutions like medications, routines, strategies, tips, and tricks, and none of those are wrong. But what most parents tell me when they're looking at sleep, let's say they get a sleep study done. The sleep study's normal. Or when they sleep with their child, it's fine. Or when the child has a bottle and falls asleep, the sleep is fine. Their child can actually sleep. Because these are all things that aid in sleep, but none of them create the self-regulation in the child that's needed to fall asleep and stay asleep and go back to sleep on their own. Until you can address sleep issues as self-regulation issues, your child will forever need you or a thing to help them. Solving sleep issues requires you to look at sleep as a symptom of a bigger problem. Sleep is not the problem. A lack of sleep is creating multiple issues, including your exhaustion and frustration, and symptoms of a bigger problem for your child. It's a lack of self-regulation. There are tips and tricks and strategies and routines and meds and countless things to try. But if you really want to go at this and solve it, not just hope for a few nights of good sleep, you need to reach out to me. This is what I do, folks. Take a long, hard look at your child's sleep pattern. If you want that visual, I'd be happy to send it to you. Just type sleep visual PDF below and I'll send you the PDF. But truly, to give your child the gift of sleep, you'll need to shift how you look at sleep and how you are addressing it. Sleep issues can be resolved. If you want to talk about it, send me a private message and we will book a time to talk. Have a great night, everyone. See you next week. Bye.